I have tried hundreds of fragrances this year from niche, designer, Middle Eastern, and these are my top 6 Middle Eastern perfumes for the entire year of 2024. I tried so many fragrances, and so many of the viral Middle Eastern perfumes were actually the ones that I tried as well. And to be quite honest with you, some of them lived up to the hype, some of them did not. These are a solid 6 that I really do think held their own excellently well. A lot of fragrances that have entered my collection this year have been niche, and to be honest with you, I have been comparing these fragrances to those niche fragrances, and in many situations, I chose to wear these perfumes over some more expensive ones, full stop. And you will be able to see by the dents in these bottles just how much I loved these perfumes. These are some excellent options, highly recommend them, and I'm excited to get into them today. If this is your first time on this channel, hello, my name is Anya. I love fragrances, and I talk about them here 5 times a week, Monday through Friday, along with a ton of bonus content in between. And I also publish additional content on TikTok and Instagram under the username ANECHKAFRAGRANCES. I do have a podcast as well called The Fragrance Report. Right now, I really am taking this opportunity to talk about fragrance history on that podcast. So if you're interested in hearing some chatty banter from me and also learning a little bit about fragrance history, which is not a topic I've really explored on this channel that much yet, I would definitely recommend checking out that podcast right now. It's on Spotify. As I mentioned before, 2024 was the year I started exploring niche fragrances, and it caused me to be very discerning about some of the more affordable fragrances in my collection. Not that I'll ever stop talking about affordable fragrances, because to be honest, that's my bread and butter. I love exploring and discovering fragrances that are affordably priced, but the quality is really, really good. That's what I'll continue to hunt for, and I'll continue to talk about on my channel. If anything, I'm really glad that I've been able to expand my palette, because I look at these fragrances and, to be honest, they're really, really good. And even if I was recommending fragrances for a niche nose, these are fragrances I would pick up. So first up, let's talk about Paris Corner. This is Tuskin Marina. They have a few other Tuskin fragrances in this line. This is my favorite one, well, the one I have tried, and I really do think it's a beautiful fragrance. So here you have black currant, lily of the valley, and grapefruit. But the way this is done is so perfectly well. Like, this smells like a more kind of expensive, luxurious citrus fragrance. So think the Chanel Chance line, you know, the Chanel Chance Eau Fraiche, Eau Tendre, I think they have like another one as well. You know how those fragrances have like that citrus note, but it's like a very refined citrus? This mimics that. So when you think of a citrus fragrance, a lot of times citrus perfumes can kind of lean a little bit too close to kind of floor cleaner, window cleaner, you know, like that citrusy smell that's a little bit too abrasive. This doesn't do that. It's a perfectly done floral, fruity fragrance. Yeah, I have no notes for this. This literally smells so good. Like, this is, honestly, if you like blackcurrant, if you like grapefruit, if you like those kinds of scent profiles, this would be blind buy safe. I'm saying that because a lot of these perfumes are really affordably priced, and I mean, while strictly speaking, you should never really blind buy a perfume just because one person told you to do so, in my opinion, I would say this is pretty easy. Like, I can't imagine anyone not liking this if you don't like those notes I just listed. To be honest, this is not my biggest stand. I have some other fragrances that I used a lot more than this one, but still, when I was choosing fragrances for this video, this did stand out to me as being one of my favorite fragrances. It just smells really good. If you want kind of like a perfumey smelling citrus, this is gorgeous. I really like it. Tuskin Marina, and right now it's like around $25–$30. It's very affordably priced. I'll link all the fragrances below, by the way. But yeah, Tuskin Marina, beautiful. Another fragrance that was absolutely stunning was Liam Grey by Lattafa. Now, this is a perfume that I used heavily. This is a fragrance that's kind of like an aromatic tea vanilla perfume. Beautiful, especially if you love vanilla fragrances and you want something that's a little bit like cozier. This is a beautiful option. So we have top notes of cardamom, fig, and black tea, a mid of iris, vetiver, and labdanum, and then a base of vanilla, sandalwood, tonka, and patchouli. Now, this perfume has some similarities to Gris Charnel. And I'm not saying they're dupes, that's not what I'm saying at all, but some people asked me in the past, oh, does this smell like a dupe? Does this smell like a good alternative for that? In my opinion, it smells similar, but it's still a very different fragrance in the sense that this leans more into like the sandalwood and vanilla musk aspects. It's less aromatic than the more high-end Gris Charnel. Um, but if you're looking for kind of like a fig milky vanilla, this is a really good one. Just independently, I really like this for that reason. Um, I wore this a lot. It's like one of those cozy sandalwood fragrances. It stays on a really long time, but it does stay pretty close to the skin. I really like this one a lot, and it was pretty much an essential for me, especially in the summer moving into the fall time. I'm glad to have it, and this is what the dent looks like. So you can see that I was using this quite heavily. I do think it's a very unisex fragrance. The next fragrance is one that I procrastinated on getting on for a very long time. I was like, I do not need another fragrance in this scent profile, and I just talked myself out of it time and time and time again. I finally got it, and to be honest, it was one of my most worn fragrances of the summertime. I'm referring to Mayara by Lattafa, and this is, I believe, the original Mayara fragrance. This has top notes of lychee, raspberry, and violet leaf, a mid of white rose, peony, and jasmine, and then a base of musk and vanilla. This perfume just smells like a cozy, beautiful aquatic rose kind of candy smell. It's just fun. It's fun. It doesn't smell like, it smells more sweet than anything else, but it's like a watery sweetness. It's such a delicious fragrance if you want to smell like a fruit floral cocktail. These fragrances are kind of similar in the sense that they both play around with fruity floral facets. Tuskin Marina is more of like a perfumey citrus. This to me smells more like a traditional citrus perfume. This to me just smells like a fruit punch with floral notes and like a lot of ice. That's what I get with this. It just smells fun. So if you're looking for that, especially for the summertime, this is really good. Right now, I mean, it's winter. I have not worn this fragrance in a really long time, but in the summertime, I really enjoyed it, and this was the dent. I wore this a lot. And by the way, if you're looking at some of these dents and you're thinking, okay, those are not big dents, keep in mind I wore many fragrances this year. So some of the dents you're about to see are pretty extensive. Some other fragrances I loved, but I may not have made huge dents in them. So the next fragrance is actually one that I would recommend as probably the number one or maybe number two fragrance in this entire video, specifically because this perfume has shocked many people, and I'm going to explain why to you in just a moment. But this is Kismet for Men by Maison Alhambra. Specifically, Kismet for Men, the one that comes in the black label. They have a Kismet for women. That one's nice. We're not talking about that one today. That did not make the cut. That did not make the cut for this video. We're talking about this one. And if you look at this, I used up half of it. I bought this in like March. I went through this fragrance like water. And there's a good reason behind it. It's a terrific perfume. Let's look at the notes. This is one of those fragrances that you smell it and you're like, wow, this smells neat. I have gotten compliments on this. And then I'm like, okay, guys, it's like 25. And people are like, what? And I'm like, yeah, it's $25, $25. Again, you don't have to spend hundreds of dollars to smell expensive when you have some of these Middle Eastern fragrances. Like, I'm not talking about the eclair viral perfumes. I'm talking about some of these underrated gems that people literally have not found out about. And this smells amazing. This smells like a man in a suit. This smells beautiful. This smells stunning. So Kismet for Men. Again, it's for men, but I wear it. I love wearing it. I've worn it a lot. This has notes of woody notes and nutmeg at the top, a mid of patchouli, sandalwood, cacao, and coffee, and then a base of vanilla and vetiver. For me personally, I get like a lot of like kind of warm spiciness, but it's like a very like aromatic spicy fragrance. But this is specifically for those of you who love sandalwood and vetiver. This is gorgeous. It's one of the most elegant perfumes in my collection. It's easily, if I had to do like a top 10 fragrances for life, and I might do that as well, but if I had to do it, this would be in that video. To be quite honest with you, I looked at fragrances like Eclair, fragrances like Serre, and to be honest, I liked those fragrances. Those were nice. I think Eclair is and was overpriced, but then I think of those fragrances and compare it to this, and I'm like, I'm sorry, you guys can have those fragrances. I'm gonna go for this. This is tried and true, amazing, stunning, spectacular. No notes. This is beautiful. By the way, it does have a terrific sillage. It stays on a really long time, and I do get compliments on it constantly. So there you go. So next, another dent heavy fragrance is Mystique Bouquet by Afnan. This is like essential for me. This is an essential peachy lily of the valley floral. This smells like a cozy hug. This smells gorgeous, and the staying power on this is absolutely insane. It's one of those fragrances that you don't think is a loud fragrance, but it actually is. Like, I made the mistake of wearing this in the office when I first got it, and people could smell me. It was a rather potent fragrance, not gonna lie, and I did not realize it, so be careful. But this is one of those powerhouse perfumes that's just a beautiful musk scent. So you have top notes of white peach, mandarin orange, lychee, and bergamot, and mid of peony, orange blossom, mahonio vetiver, and then a base of musk, ambroxan, vanilla, and oak moss. Honestly, if I had to do like, oh my gosh, if I had to do a video where I talked about my favorite fragrance notes, Ambroxan would be in there because I look at my favorite fragrances, and whenever Ambroxan appears, it seems that I love that perfume. So this is an example of that. Plus, the bottle is gorgeous. I love it. I love it. It's amazing, stunning, beautiful. This is one of my favorite perfumes of all time. And look at this dent. Look at that. It's amazing. Beautiful. So last but not least is a fragrance that I really, really love, and you might have already seen this in places like Ulta or online. This is a celebrity fragrance, and I was kind of wondering where to put this in my favorites videos because it's not technically designer, but it is a Middle Eastern fragrance, so I'm going to put it here. To be honest, okay, to be completely honest with you, I haven't really liked a lot of designer or a lot of new designer fragrances this year. And I think it's because I just have stopped buying a lot of designers, but that's just like a personal thing. I don't know. I just realized I didn't really have that many new designer favorites, except for this one, I would say. But even, I don't even know this is designer. Anyway, this next fragrance, I just fell in love with rather quickly, head over heels. I was not expecting to fall in love with this fragrance, but then I got it and I realized that I had just almost like finished half the bottle, and I was like, you know what? Okay, it's a favorite. It's a favorite. I love it. I'm going to get another one of these, and this time it's going to be a larger size. But this is Orebella's Salted Muse. Now, Orebella is founded by Bella Hadid. Bella Hadid is of Palestinian descent, so I'm going to call this a Middle Eastern fragrance. This is a beautiful perfume if you want something more unusual. So this fragrance has notes of sea salt and pink pepper at the top, a mid of olive tree, lavender, and fig, and then a base of cedar, sandalwood, and amber. I love this fragrance. It's such a good layering fragrance too because it's an oil. You shake it and then you spray it on. Oh my gosh, I love this perfume. This perfume reminds me of summer. Yeah, this is beautiful. I like went through this because like this was such an easy perfume to layer with, and I would just like put it everywhere. Is it like a loud fragrance? No, but does it stay on a really long time? Yes, because it's an oil, and it was such a great base to layer with. I'm gonna need I'm gonna need another bottle of this. Yeah, easy. Because like look at this, look at that. I fell in love with this fragrance. It's really good. I've tried the other two original ones that she came out with, not the new one. I really want to try the new one. I just haven't been to an Ulta in a really long time. I really like this a lot. So, yeah. All right, so those are my top 6 Middle Eastern fragrances of this entire year. Let me know, what did you think of my picks? Were there any Middle Eastern fragrances that caught your attention this year? Let me know. I would love to try them out myself. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.